Class is about thigh bones back today, and the femur head. It's really good to get anatomically oriented about what we're talking about. So this is the ball of a femur, of a leg bone, as it comes in to meet the pelvis at the socket. And when we move the thigh bones back, what it actually does is reorients where this ball sits in the socket of the pelvis. Okay, so for the practice, you'll need a yoga strap and some sort of ball that compresses. This is a Nerf ball. And if you don't have a Nerf ball, you can also use like a hand squeeze compression foam object that's used for releasing stress. You can also just use a washcloth or a hand towel that's folded up. Or you could even use a small, thin pillow. You just don't want to have any density in the object. So take your seat. We'll start seated together after you've collected your props. And in seated, just draw your arms close to your torso as you rest your hands on your thighs. Evenly weight into both sitting bones as you move your belly and your ribs back so they stack on top of your pelvis. And now orient your head so that it balances on top of the entire structure of ribs, pelvis, and base of the pelvis at sitting bones. Notice your breath. When we align, and when we align well, there's a softness that comes in to the practice. From all the effort, we actually end up softening. Bring your hands together at your heart. Our hearts recognize this softness. And then release your hands and open your eyes. Okay, get your object, whether it's a poof ball, a folded hand towel or washcloth, or a very thin pillow. And we're going to start on the right leg and place it up at the top of the hamstring area. So it's just beneath the sitting bone on the hamstrings, at the top of the hamstring, on the right leg. So I'm practicing right left and I'm teaching right left. So I may look opposite of you depending on how you have your setup. With the poof ball, I'm going to call it the poof ball, but it could be the hand towel folded underneath your right leg at the top of the hamstring. Use your hands and just press down on your femur. So just pressing straight down to help smush the poof ball even more. Now take your hands away, use your hands back behind you and press down with your thigh bone to smush it. So first you used your hands to help push your femur into the smushy ball or the washcloth. And now you're using your own muscular strength. Good, take it away and let your leg just be, right? So you've taken the prop out. And can you feel how that leg is resting back? There's a softness to it. It's laying back. That's the beginning of understanding thigh bones back. Let's move the object now to the middle of the hamstring on the right leg. So same leg. So now you're about midway down the leg. Use your fingertips back behind you to push down with your fingertips so you can stay lifted up through your spine. Keep your ribs and your belly moving back so you're able to balance your head on top of your pelvis. And now use the muscles of your right leg. You'll feel the muscles contract as you try to smush the object. You're trying to press it like a flat pancake into the earth by pressing your thigh bone back towards your hamstring. Good, and then release. And take the object out, whether it's a poof ball or a hand towel, and feel the leg and how it's settled on the ground. It's softly resting back. Let's do the left leg now. So you know what we're doing. We're going up, right up at the top, just underneath the sitting bone. So we're on what's called the top of the hamstring. Let's again use our hands for the first one. So take your hands and press your femur. So you're placing your hands on your left thigh. feeling through the skin, through the muscle till you feel bone, and literally press the bone down into the object, whether it's a poof ball or a washcloth. Press it down. Now take your hands away. Let's use them back behind us as a second spine. Push with your hands, lift up through your sternum, balancing your head with your ribs and belly back. Use the muscles of your left leg to press your thigh bone towards the object so it smushes the object, and you want to sustain it. And what you'll feel is the muscles of your leg engage. They'll fire up around the whole perimeter of the leg. The whole circumference of your left leg will be toning. Good. Take the poof ball out or the washcloth, whatever it is. Sit for a minute and feel how the leg has softly settled to the mat. And let's get a little bit more of that by moving the object now to the middle of the left hamstring. We'll just use our own muscular strength. So hands to the mat back behind you with elbows bent, tops of the shoulders relaxed. Breathe. As you spread your toes and press down through your heels, fire up the muscles of your left leg so that you can really smash. You want to think of like smushing it down as flat as you can, the object beneath your left leg, whether it's a poof ball, a squeezy stress release ball, or a hand towel or very, very thin pillow. Keep it going. It's really easy to like do it and then be like, well, I've done it. We're trying to sustain it as well. Maintain this co-contraction of the leg, of all the muscles of the leg squeezing, and then you know, from that strength, pressing the femur back. Go ahead and take the object out, let the leg settle, and maybe you can feel that the thigh bones are resting back softly. All right, move your objects out of the way, and let's come into all fours position, please. Hands and knees. And hands and knees, a couple rounds of cat-cow now. So drop your head, drop your tail, lift your belly, reach out through your tail, pull forward through your heart as your hands claw back and your head looks up. Keep that going, moving between cat-cow a couple more times. One more round. Breath flowing. Come to neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Tuck your toes, move your hands a handprint forward, press your pelvis up and back into down dog. Bend your knees and walk out your feet. Alternating a heel lift lower, and from the articulation of your foot, the knee will bend, the hip joint will flex, the knee will lengthen. One more time on each foot, and then bend both knees, lifting your heels high. Tip your sitting bones a little bit more to the sky, and then from the bottom of your heart to your hands, push into the earth. Keep the lift of your belly and your ribs and the tip of your sitting bones. To lengthen your legs, press your thigh bones back to your hamstrings. So imagine remembering what it felt like to smush the object at the beginning of class underneath your thigh bones. You're doing it here to move your thigh bones back, to lengthen your legs any amount. And what you'll feel is like an increased stretch through the back line of the legs, and you've done it with very skillful intention. Take another full breath here. And on an exhale, walk your hands and your feet towards each other until you're in a standing forward fold. Bend your knees again. So in the standing forward fold, knees are bent. Bring the hands to the back of your calves. So you're going to hold on to the back of your calves at the gastrocnemius, the thickest part of the muscle of the lower leg. All right, and use your hands now and press your shin bones forward while you try to press your thigh bones back. Keep both those actions going. So your hands are lovingly encouraging your shin bones to move forward. And you're way up near the top, right at the thickest part of the muscle of the lower leg. Meanwhile, trying to smush a poof ball with your upper thigh bones way up near the sitting bones. Breathe. Bring your hands to your pelvis, heart long, rise tall. Release your arms down. Walk to the top of your mat. In breath, reach up. Exhale, have a seat chair pose. Fold forward to Uttanasana. Step back to plank. Push with your hands and your feet. Bring your knees to the mat. Lower all the way down on your belly. Inhale up to Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower down. Push up to all fours. From all fours, with your hands beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your pelvis, take your right arm out to a T and then thread your right arm through for thread the needle. Left elbow to the sky. Left side of the pelvis drawing back. As you stay with your breath, push with your left hand. Untwist back to all fours. Left arm out to a T. Slide your right arm through. Right elbow to the sky. Right side of the pelvis drawing back. Breathe. Press with the tops of your feet. Press with your hands. Untwist. Work your hands a handprint forward. Tuck your toes. Press up and back into downward facing dog. Bend your knees again. Push with your hands and push with your feet. Keep lifting and lengthening from the bottom of your heart out through your hands. And now from the bottom of your heart through your pelvis, tip your sitting bones up to the sky and extend from the bottom of your heart through your legs by pressing your thigh bones towards your hamstrings to lengthen your legs any amount. One more breath cycle. Walk your hands and your feet in. Come to standing forward fold. Bring your hands to the back of your calves, hooking your thumb pit. So pointer finger and thumb are wrapping around the lower leg and wrapping around right at the thickest part of the gastrocnemius. Press the lower leg forward, the leg resists, and then move the upper thigh bones back, similar to when you smush the poof ball right beneath the sitting bone at the top of the hamstrings. Move the thigh bones back. Continue to let your head descend. As you press down with your heels and spread your toes, bring your hands to your pelvis, elbows to the sky, heart moving forward. Push with your feet and rise up. Walk to the top of your mat. With your hands on your pelvis, stand in your left foot. Step your right foot back for a high lunge. Pelvis, toes, all pointing in the same direction, right heel lifted. Let your left thigh bone descend to the earth. So your front leg is your left leg. Left thigh bone descends to the earth. And that would be thigh bone back on the left leg. In your right leg, lift your right inner thigh way up where your thigh bone meets your pelvis. Lift it to the sky. Yeah, so that would be thigh bone back in the right leg. In breath, raise your arms up and breathe. Exhale, release your arms down, hands to the pelvis again. Push with your left foot, step your right foot forward. Stand in your right foot, left leg back, high lunge. Keep breathing. Coming into the general form of the pose, so pelvis, knees, toes, all pointing in the same direction, left heel lifted. Align your belly, ribs, shoulders, and head on top of your pelvis, so it's all moving back. And now let the right thigh bone descend, right? So right leg, the bent leg, your front leg, right thigh bone goes back towards the hamstrings, and what will happen is the right knee will go over the ankle more, the right thigh bone will go parallel to the earth a little bit more. Meanwhile, in the back leg, thigh bone to hamstring, way up near the butt line, right? Remember where the hamstrings come in to meet the pelvis? Way up there, press the thigh bone back. Raise your arms up, breathe. Keep moving thigh bones towards hamstrings. Next exhale, hands down by your side. Push with your right heel. Swing your left foot forward. Release your arms down by your side. In breath, reach up. And just bend your right elbow. I'm just turning front so you can see me. You stay there. So that you've got a tricep stretch. Yep. Instead of pushing down on the right elbow with the left hand, pull up. So use the left hand to pull the right elbow tip up to the sky. And now move it towards the midline. Up and towards center. In breath, raise your arms up. Exhale, release them down. It's a pretty sweet one. Feel the difference. In breath, arms up. This time, left elbow bends, and use your right hand to hold your left elbow tip. Let your left hand just dangle behind you. Now, rather than push down, pull up. Use your right hand to lengthen the left side waist by holding on to the left elbow tip and elevating it. At the same time, draw your elbow tip towards the midline. So it's up and to center. Nice. Inhale, reach up. Exhale and release your arms. Arms reach up to the sky, out to a T. Turn your thumbs down. All right, so thumbs point down, back of the hands face the wall behind you. Thumbs down, back of the hands face the wall behind you. On an exhale, bend both elbows. I'm just turning around so you can see. And then hold on to whatever you can get. Maybe you can hold forearms. Maybe you can get elbow to elbow. Hold on to whatever you got back there. Keep that. Open up through your heart without jutting your lower ribs forward. Bend your knees so your inner groins soften. Reach down through your tail. Lift up through the top back of your head. Now, as you hold your arms, wherever you're holding them is perfect, but isometrically try to pull them apart. So you're holding lovingly, and then isometrically you're trying to slide your hands away from one another. And that should help open a little bit of the chest tissue at the front of you. Maybe you're feeling some strength in the arms and some chest, front of the chest opening. Release your arms down by your side. In breath, raise your arms up. Exhale them down. Back to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Reach up fully. Exhale, chair pose. Breathe in. Another exhale, forward fold. Right foot back, low lunge. Right leg is the back leg. Right inner thigh to the sky. Not by just moving it there, but by thinking about the poof ball at the beginning of class. Engaging the muscles of the right leg to move the right thigh bone towards the hamstrings, which means towards the ceiling. Let the left thigh bone descend while the right one stays lifted. Work both hands to the inside of your left foot. You have an option to come down to your forearms. Breathe. Your head can drop in. If you're up higher, still on hands, perfect. Couple more breaths here. Strong legs, thigh bones back. Press with your hands, walk them back up. One hand on either side of your left foot. Push with your left heel, step your right foot forward. Hands to your pelvis, knees bent, thigh bones moving back, shin bones moving forward. Without your hands teaching it, find it. Shins forward, thigh bones back. Heart forward, rise tall. Release your arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chair pose. Breathe. Wait for another exhale, forward fold. Left foot back, low lunge. Left inner thigh Thigh bone to hamstring. Way up where the leg meets the pelvis. Press the thigh bone back. Front leg, your bent leg. Allow your right femur to descend. Keep the back thigh bone lifting. Work both hands to the inside of your right foot. You could stay here with your hands on the mat. You could also come down to forearms. Breathe. Continue to work heels, thigh bones back. Both legs. Next breath, push with your hands. Work both hands so that they're straddling your right foot. One hand on each side of your right foot. Push with your right foot. Swing your left foot forward. Forward fold. Knees bent, hands on the floor. Find shins forward, thigh bones back. And if you're like, oh, I can't get it without using my hands, fine. Put your hands at your calves. Press your shins forward. Move the upper thigh bones back. Way up at the top of the thigh bones, trying to move back. Knees stay bent. Keep what you have. Bring your hands to your pelvis. Heart forward, rise. Release your arms down. Take a wide stance on your mat. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left foot open. So your right foot is your back foot. Your left foot is your front foot. Move the thigh bone back on your right leg. So right now, in this moment, thigh bone back, right leg, the back leg, strong back action. Release the front hip, keep the right thigh bone moving back, and let the left thigh bone descend. Push with both feet, lengthen your legs, try it again. So if you get the right thigh bone moving back, the back leg thigh bone moving back before you even go into the pose, you're going to get a greater opening as you go into the shape. So one more time. Right thigh bone pressing back, right heel rooting. Let the left thigh bone descend, thigh bone back. Try to keep both and see if you can feel a difference in the groin here than what maybe you normally do in practice. Reach your arms up. Out to a T. Keep moving the right thigh bone back, left thigh bone descending, left hand all the way to the ground. Go for it. If you're really moving your thigh bones back on both legs, it's a little bit easier to get to the ground. Top arm over the head. Breathe. Push with your back foot. Inhale and come up. Exhale and release your arms. Turn your left foot in. Turn your right foot open. So we'll go slow, right? We'll do it twice before we go into the big shape, and we're working on right from the beginning. Before we even take the form of the pose, we're already implementing the action of thigh bone back. I see the jackets coming off. Good. Good. You're getting warm from the work. Move your left thigh bone back. You know what that means? It's that feeling of compressing a poof ball. The muscles of the left leg are going to compact. Then release the right hip. Let the right thigh bone press back, and it's happening way up here. If you had a poof ball, you know where you put it on the first pass. Lengthen your front leg. Let's go for it one more time. Left thigh bone back. Feel the tissue of your left leg compacting. Keep it. Right thigh bone back. That's what brings you into the shape. Arms up. Breathe. Keep rooting into your heels as you open your arms to a T. Next breath, right arm to right leg, and then all the way down to the ground. Go all the way down. If you keep moving your thigh bones back on both legs, your hand will get to the ground. Nice. Arm over the head. Breathe. Press with both feet. Inhale and come up. Very nice. Very nice. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot open. This time, both legs long. Trikonasana. All right, so thigh bones back on both legs, but without hyperextending the knee, which means you've got to add that shin forward idea, right? Shin forward, thigh bone back. Arms reach up. So already before we've even gone over into what is considered triangle pose, we're already initiating the action of the legs. Keep it super strong in both legs. Thigh bones back, tip over, thigh bones back, tip over, long heart. Keep thigh bones back, go for the ground, thigh bones back. Breathe, and if you need to not go for the ground, that's fine. Bigger cue is, what are the leg bones doing? What are the muscles doing? Bend your front knee. Thigh bone back on the front leg and the back leg, more. Push with your back foot, inhale and come up. Exhale and release your arms. Turn your left foot in. Turn your right foot open. Second side, triangle pose. You know what the emphasis is. Arms up. Root into your heels and pull your feet towards one another. Keep that. And now, big action. Left thigh bone back, right thigh bone back. Can you find both? As you open your arms out to a T, continue to keep the action in the legs. Next breath, triangle pose. Thigh bones back, the whole way down. Thigh bones back, the whole way down. Thigh bones. Come on. Both legs. One of them you give up. Take another breath. Keep the thigh bones moving back. Bend your front knee. Push with your back foot. Inhale and come up. Yeehaw. Good work, you guys. Heel toe your feet together. We'll take a down dog because hamstrings are going to be pretty open, which will help open the back. In breath, reach up. On an exhale, chair pose. Fold forward to Uttanasana. Step back to down dog. And just check out this dog. Bend your knees. Push with your hands and your feet. Tip your sitting bones up to the sky and keep your belly, ribs lifted. And they're staying lifted because you've got this incredible push of your hands, which keeps your armpits lifted. All right, with your hands and feet committing, shins forward, thigh bones back. Lengthen your legs any amount. Shins forward, thigh bones back. So how you're getting the length out of the legs is by pressing the upper thigh bones back towards the hamstrings. And as you find that fullness of the practice, allow your heels to descend towards the mat. Doesn't mean belly and ribs descend. Armpits don't descend. That's all a no. The yes is thigh bones back. Another breath. Keep pushing with hands and feet. Glide forward to plank. Push with your hands and feet. Option is knees to the mat, lower onto your belly. Squeeze your legs towards one another as you lift your shoulders to the height of your elbows. Reach back from your pelvis to your feet as you press the tops of your feet down to pull your heart forward and up into Bhujangasana. Heart moves forward, lower all the way down. Press up into all fours, hands and knees. And then in hands and knees, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the pelvis. Keep your left knee where it is. Step your right leg out for a lunge. It's going to be externally rotated. Work your right hand forward. On an exhale, bend your left elbow, sink your pelvis towards your left heel, move your right thigh bone towards your hamstring so that your rear end on the right side sits down a little bit. On an in-breath, push with your right hand, push with your left hand, lift yourself back up, right hand under the shoulder, right knee back to all fours. Step your left leg out into the side plane into a lunge. So right knee down, both hands down, left leg is in a lunge and it's like a lunge position to the side. Let the left thigh bone go towards the left hamstring. As you walk, your left hand forward. Left hand's reaching forward. Breathe. On an exhale, bend your right elbow. Right elbow's just going down into a forearm plank position. As you stay here and breathe, let your left femur way up where it meets your pelvis. On the back side, at the hamstring side, let it get heavy. Allow your right side of your pelvis to reach back towards your right heel. Breathe. Push with your left hand, push with your right hand. In breath, rise up. Left hand underneath the shoulder girdle, left knee underneath the pelvis. Work your hands forward, a handprint. Tuck your toes, press up and back to downward dog. Move your thigh bones back as your shins move forward. Full expression of dog, pelvic tilt, belly and ribs lifting, hands firmly pressing to keep the lift of the arms up. Walk towards your hands to come to a forward fold. From your forward fold, hands to your pelvis, and rise tall. Good work. Grab your yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, you could use a belt from a bathrobe, a belt from a pair of pants. You can use an actual pair of pants. All right, so let's take the strap around the bottom of your right foot. Since we're practicing at home, you probably have furniture nearby or a wall nearby that you're welcome to go to so that your left hand can help steady you on a very stable object. So choose something that does not have wheels as your stable object. So with the yoga strap wrapped around the bottom of the right foot, left hand is either at pelvis or holding on to a wall or a chair or a couch or a countertop. Bring your right knee towards your chest. Bring your right knee all the way up towards your chest. Yeah, good. Stretch your right leg out. And to get the full length, what do you think the thigh bone does? I know you know it. So add it here on both legs. Standing leg, on the left leg, you may need to bend the knee a little bit to move the thigh bone back. Option is left arm up. Hand to big toe. Okay, left hand to pelvis, right knee bends, right foot on the ground. Second side, so strap going around the bottom of your left foot. We know that our priority for today is breath, right? Keep breathing. And then the next priority is thigh bone back, right? That's what we're teaching. So go for that versus anything else. So if to understand and add the action successfully of thigh bone back, if it helps you to be holding on to a stable object like a wall or a chair, please do. Stand in your right foot, micro bend your right knee, move the right thigh bone back as you bring your left knee towards your chest. Continue to press your right thigh bone back as you press your left thigh bone back to extend your left leg. Breathe. Option is right arm up. The ultimate goal is thigh bones back. That you're feeling the strength that you felt at the beginning of class when you smushed those objects underneath your thigh bones. Can you feel that in this moment? Do you have that quality coming in to this shape? Right hand to pelvis, left knee bends, left foot down. Okay, set your strap off to the top of your mat. In breath, reach up. Exhale, chair. Breathe in, and on an exhale, Uttanasana. Step back to down dog. Push with your hands and your feet, bend your knees, tip your sitting bones. All right, things are going to get a little crazy. You've done this before. Raise your left leg in the air, left leg up in dog, so a three-legged dog. Draw your left knee towards your chest. Now aim your left knee towards your right wrist. Left knee to right wrist. Yep, you're rounding up like a cat as your knee goes towards your wrist. Now kick out your left leg long so it threads through your right hand and your right foot. Keep what you have. Move your thigh bones back on both legs. Weight bear more into your left hand and bring your right hand to your pelvis. Press your pelvis forward to move your thigh bones back. Top arm up. So you're in radiance pose. It's like a variation of Vashisthasana. Right hand down. Right hand in a dog hand position. Bend your left knee. Shoot your left leg back up to the sky. Lower your left leg down. Walk your hands and feet towards one another. Hands to your pelvis. Rise. We'll get the other side. All right. Top of your mat. In breath, reach up. Exhale, chair. Breathe in. Another exhale, forward fold. Shins forward, thigh bones back. Step back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Tip your sitting bones up to the sky with knees bent. Push with hands and feet. Keep the lift of the belly and the ribs in your armpits. Move your thigh bones back to lengthen your legs any amount. Stepping heavy into your left foot, clawing with each hand, raise your right leg up in the air, three-legged dog. Breathe. Bring your right knee to your left wrist. So it's working a diagonal line across. Yep. Once it's there, your spine's going to have to flex and round like a cat. And now shoot your right leg through the space between your left hand and your left foot. Lengthen it out. Move your thigh bones back on both legs. Strong thigh bones back. Breathe. Push with your right hand to bring your left hand to your pelvis and spin open. Top arm up to the sky. Breathe. Left hand down, back to a dog shape with the left hand. Bend your right knee, shoot it up to the sky, three-legged dog. On an exhale, lower your right leg, walk your feet forward. Standing forward fold, shins forward, thigh bones back. Hands to your pelvis, spine long, rise. Yeehaw! All right, grab your yoga strap. You may want to be near a wall or a stable piece of furniture. Yoga strap underneath your right foot. Anybody guess what variation of hand to big toe we're going to do? Is it the one that opens to the side or the one that crosses the midline? I hope you're yelling because we did radiance pose. It's going to be the one that crosses the midline. That's the variation we're doing. All right, so left leg is your standing leg. Bend your left knee. Move your left thigh bone back. Remember, that's the main teaching. Draw your right knee to your chest and then switch hands holding the yoga strap. So now your left hand is holding both straps. The strap is around your right foot. There's that diagonal reach. Right hand can be holding onto a chair, right hand to the pelvis. So the right hip will want to hike up. Move the right thigh bone back. Bring the right knee across the midline. Right knee across the midline. So it's just like radiance pose, right? There's that knee going across the midline. And now extend your leg out. Yep, lift up through your heart. The option is you could extend your right arm out to a T. You could reach it up if you've got the balance, the elbow bends, right? And then go up, just like you practiced, 30 minutes ago, as if another hand has your elbow tip. It's pulling it up. Meanwhile, the right thigh bone is descending. It's not going up with that elbow tip. In breath, raise your right arm up, right hand to pelvis, bend your left knee, step out, stand for a minute. That gets a lot good stuff flowing. So let's go to the other side. Left foot in the strap. Right knee is your standing leg. So right knee, soften it a little bit so that you can move what forward, what back on the right leg. Right shin bone forward, right thigh bone back. Got it? It's already happening. You don't do it like later. It's happening now before we start going into the general form of the pose. Yeah, holding the yoga strap around your left foot. Switch hands. So now your right hand's going to hold both straps. Left hand becomes the free hand that gets to hold onto a table, a chair, or a wall. Bring your left leg across the midline. Move your right thigh bone back again, because as soon as the left leg crosses the midline, the thigh bone will want to jut forward. Right thigh bone back. You may need to bend your right knee to get that to happen, so you can do shin forward, thigh bone back. Left thigh bone back, right? So right here, way up at the hip crease, it's descending like you're smushing a ball. Extend your left leg any amount. Breathe. Thigh bones back. Yeah, you got it. I see you guys going for the arm in the air. Arm up. Whoa, I'm gonna lose it, but you stay. Keep breathing, elbow bend. I may not make it on this side. You stay with it. Lift up. It's hard to talk and do this. Oh, Lord. Breathe. I'm calling on Grace to hold me here. There you go. Thank you, Grace. Left elbow up, left sitting bone descends, arm extends, arm down, left knee bends, step out. Tell you what, calling on Grace helps every time. Drop your straps. Walk to the top of your mat. In breath, reach up. Exhale, have a seat, chair pose, fold forward to Uttanasana, step back to down dog. Ooh, this is a nice dog. How's the shins forward, thigh bones back going, guys? Getting more length, more lift through the front of you, more length through the back of you. Breathe. Work it. Work the actions. Next breath, knees to the mat. Have a seat. Well done. All right, this is my new favorite back bend. I don't know, I'm gonna have you guys be doing this a lot, maybe. All right, so left knee to chest. Draw your left knee into your chest and hug it in. Even use both hands and hug it in. I know you're saying, this is not a back bend, Lisa. It's coming, it's coming. All right, reach your right arm up. Circle it back, make a backstroke and land it on the ground. Bend your right elbow. Now your right fingers point away from your torso. Right fingers are pointing towards the wall behind you, away from you. Bend your right elbow a little bit so it's responsive. Push with your left foot. Keep your right leg long, right thigh bone moving back. Lift your pelvis up. There's our back bend. Breathe. Take another breath. Exhale, pelvis down. Stretch your left leg out. Draw your right knee in. Hug it in. Use both arms and hug in. So this is a hip opener. This starts in a seated hip opener. Both sitting bones rooting. I just came out because sometimes I know the mic gets funky when I jam up on one side. So I was just checking that I had the antenna clear. All right, you got your actions, thigh bones back, especially on the left leg, the long leg. Left arm up, big backstroke, circle it back, land your left hand, fingers point away from you towards the wall behind you. Bend your left elbow, let it be responsive. Push with your right foot, lift your hips up, left thigh bone back as you go up. Breathe. Hips are extending, but thigh bone moving back. 2 more breaths. Next exhale, pelvis down. All right, soles of the feet meet together, bound angle pose. Fingertips back behind you to start. Bend your elbows, lift up through your heart. Adding in the forward bend, keep the sitting bones anchoring, reach up to the sky. Heart moves forward, forward fold. Land your hands on the ground. Keep moving your heart forward. Eventually, as you come closer to the earth, you may feel that the spine needs to flex. That's fine. But keep your elbows up to the air. Fingers are in ridge tops. Elbows are up to the sky. So it keeps a lift through the torso, even though you're going down. Breathe. Press your feet into one another. Press your feet down into the mat. Pull your heels towards your pelvis isometrically. Reach out from your inner groin to your knees. Use your hands now. Push with your hands. Inhale and rise. Come to the center of your mat with your knees together. Have your yoga strap nearby. So if it's not really close, reach over and grab it now. It'll be easier. I know some of you guys might have to really jump up and get it. All right, once you've got your strap, work yourself down to the mat. So on your back, take your yoga strap, hook it around the bottom of your right foot. Start with your right knee bent a little bit, just a little bit, because we're going to practice what action to lengthen the leg. You know it. All right, so right knee a little bit bent. And to get the length out of the right leg, let the right side of the pelvis anchor. Spread your toes, level your foot out. Use the strap to help level the foot. Use your hands to pull the leg into the socket. So you're using the strap to draw the leg into your body. Meanwhile, from your pelvis to your foot, push into the strap. Now add thigh bone back to lengthen the leg any amount. And I'm hoping you've got like an amazing hamstring stretch in this shape and not your same old, same old. You know, if you have skillfully applied the actions, you know, you've gone in a new way. Gives you a new opening. All right, let's take the right leg across the midline just a little bit, but it's not really about going across the midline. You know what it's about. It's about keeping the thigh bone moving back, and I can't even go that far. If I'm really keeping the thigh bone moving back and my pelvis equally weighted, it's like micro movements with every breath to get my leg to cross the midline. That's how much of a sweet opening through the back of the leg is happening. It's pretty intense. All right, inhale, bring your leg back to center. Take your strap off, stretch your right leg out on the ground and stretch your left leg out and feel the difference. Feel how even after almost an hour of practicing this, there's still a difference between the two legs when you really skillfully apply the technique. Okay, so let's go after the left leg now. So bend your right knee, bend your left knee, and then take your yoga strap and hook it around the bottom of your left foot. Now, rather than going right away for straightening out the left leg, micro bend the left knee. All right, so we're starting with a little bit of a knee bend so that we can skillfully apply the technique. Weight both sides of your pelvis evenly. And now with your hands are on the yoga strap for a reason, right? It's not just to like hold it, it's to actually pull the leg towards the pelvis. So you're seating the leg into the pelvis first, right? That's muscle energy, drawing from periphery to core. Meanwhile, still keep the little micro bend of the knee, but push from pelvis to foot into the yoga strap. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your face soft, the grip of your hands loose as you do all that. Spread your toes and balance your foot out. Both sides even, not one side higher to the sky than the other. Balance the weight in your pelvis, both sides of the pelvis equally weighted. Now add in the skillful technique of how to fully lengthen the leg here. Hands are still pulling down, leg is still pushing up as you begin to bring the thigh bone a little bit more towards the hamstring. Keep what you have and now start working your left leg across the midline. First and foremost, breathe. Second, for today, is thigh bone back. It's not just about getting the leg across the midline. It's about progressively moving the thigh bone back as the leg slowly migrates towards the midline. It may not even get across it. And if you're skillfully applying that, it's going to be masterfully opening the back of your left leg, hopefully in a new way. On an in-breath, left leg back to center, bend your left knee, take the yoga strap off your foot, set the strap off to the side, stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out, and just feel. Hopefully, you got a sense of like my thigh bones are laying down on the ground. They're resting back towards the hamstrings. Bring your legs together as if they're one now. So squeeze them together. Yep. Join the inner edges of your feet, the inner line of your knees. Yep. All of that squeezing together. Press your thigh bones towards the earth strongly. It'll bring a lumbar curve into your back. But you don't want that going all the way up into the rib cage area. So use a really good exhale, maybe many of them, to bring your ribs back to the mat. So the rib cage is not elevating into a back bend, just the lumbar area. In breath, raise your arms up at the same time. So legs squeezing together. Thigh bones pressing back. Awesome exhales to keep the ribs settling down towards the mat. And now reach from your armpits to your fingertips just a little bit more. Press into your heels into the ground. Squeeze your legs and lower your arms down by your side. Hug your knees into your chest. You can rock and roll. Stretch your left leg out. Put your right foot on your left quad. Use your left hand to hold your right knee. Bring your right arm out to a T. Turn your pelvis to the left. Roll onto the pinky toe edge, the baby toe edge of your left foot as your right knee turns to the left. Breathe, turn your belly and your ribs to the right. Turn your chest to the right. Turn your head to the right. Use an inhale, return to center. Stretch your right leg out. Put your left foot on top of your right thigh. Reach with your right hand and hold your left knee. Left arm out to a T. Breathe. Turn your pelvis to the right. You'll land on the baby toe edge of your right foot. Your knees and your pelvis are turning to the right. Meanwhile, as you breathe, turn your belly and your ribs to the left. Turn your chest to the left. Turn your head to the left. Inhale everything to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Slide your hands up to the bottoms of your feet. Happy baby. Push down with your hands. Push up with your feet. You can wiggle here. You can roll. You can rock. You can sway. Heels to glute. Knees to midline. Legs lengthen out. Arms lengthen out. Close your eyes. Rest.